Welcome to the Fight Night Daily podcast. It's the beginning of the week. Usyk versus Dubois, for all the baubles, all the marbles, all the heavyweight belts. You can see behind us that those belts belong to those two men. With me, as always, the brilliant, the erudite, the ever-ready bunny that is Spencer Oliver. How exciting is this week?
It's the undisputed world heavyweight title. It's at Wembley Stadium. It's the first time that we've ever had that with a British guy involved in it. Of course, it's exciting. It's a massive moment for British boxing, and to get the undisputed here against the Oleksandr Usyk, Daniel Dubois. Can't wait.
We're under the arches of that great brow that Wembley Stadium has. We're here at the Hilton next to the brilliant classical England football stadium. It's a place that has delivered great fights, none less than Daniel Dubois against Anthony Joshua 9 months ago, 10 months ago now. It was a brilliant night for Daniel Dubois. The big question, Spencer, as we've been around the promoters today and the fighters themselves, is second time round, is this a charm for Daniel Dubois against the majestic Oleksandr Usyk?
He knows what he's going into now. You rewind to August 2023. We was out there in Poland. It was a big opportunity for Daniel Dubois, but did he truly believe in himself? Well, guess what? When he come away from it, even though he come away with a loss on his record, that was really the moulding of him, the making of him, and teaming up with Don Charles. They've spent 2 years together now.
That was their first fight together.
Absolutely. They'd only been together, 6 or 7 weeks before that fight. And I think Don Charles has done a great job with him, not just physically, but mentally as well. And you've been around him today. You've seen what he's like, Daniel Dubois. He was up in Oleksandr Usyk's face earlier, down by the steps, in Wembley, screaming in his face. He really fancies this. I've been up close and personal with him, in the build-up to this fight. We've seen Daniel in the gym now a lot of times, as you have. You've come and visited the barn as well, and there's something really different about him. There's a self-belief about him now. He was 25, Gareth, when they boxed 2023. He's now 27, and Don Charles says, and he's right in what he says as well, by the way, we've gone from boy to man, and that is the difference here. The big question is, has Oleksandr Usyk improved? I don't think he has.
Well, he's still brilliant, but the cowsheds that have become the barns, that have become the camp that overlook from that hillside near where we both live, up at Boreham Wood, with the Wembley Arch that he can see every day. You rightly say we've been around the guys today. We've been around Frank Warren, we've been around Oleksandr Usyk, we've been around Daniel Dubois. Let's have a little listen to what Frank Warren talked about earlier, alluding to what you're saying about that timing is the key in everything. Huge week, Frank. Chance for destiny and history and even prophecy that Daniel Dubois was saying that his father had a vision years ago, slave from the 1800s, Sylvia, who's given father a vision in which he's put his son through 20 years to become a great boxer and to arrive at this moment. That's what they're believing up at the farm.
Good. That's what I want. If they believe it, then make it come true. We signed him because we felt we could win a world title. I didn't know the background at that time when we signed him, and that's terrific. And we've all worked hard to get him where he's at outside the ring. He's done the business inside, and he's got to do the business on Saturday. So hopefully that vision will come true. I believe it will, and everybody will be happy.
He's had an extraordinary transformation, if you like, over the last 3 fights, but also over those 10 years, nearly 10 years that you signed him as an 18-year-old.
17,
but we believed he'd be here a couple of years ago, didn't we?
Yeah.
But there were a couple of setbacks, but he's proven that you live to fight another day sometimes. Not everybody has the same course as a boxer.
They don't, and also it's how you deal with it, how you deal with bumps in the road. And COVID was a really difficult situation for everybody, and putting fights on in places that were empty, devoid of any atmosphere, especially when you originally made the fight and it had sold out the O2 Arena, would have been a great atmosphere and so forth. I don't know. It just wasn't his night. Joe boxed very well. He was in front though, Daniel, on the cards, and the only had to do was stand up, and he would have got the fight. But that eye injury and the fact that Joe targeted that was his undoing. But he done the right thing because of the damage, and at that time he had a badly bleeding retina, and it would have had it gone on, it had detached, and we wouldn't even be talking about him now.
It's well documented, of course, your views on the midriff blow in the 5th round against Usyk in the first fight 22 months ago. Spoke to Daniel about it just recently, just written about it today, in fact. And he's saying, when I landed, I just knew it was a peach of a punch.
It was.
It was the punch. He said, I thought I was going to be the world champion in that moment.
Yeah. Look, you know, it's irrelevant now because obviously the record book says what it was. That was not a low blow. I mean, you know, they can freeze the bloody thing like they've done before it lands, where it's arcing up and it makes it look like. But he didn't hold his balls. There was none of that. He didn't do any of that stuff, did he? It went to his on his belt line, and his belt is where his navel is, and it wasn't below the navel. And the referee gave him extra time when he didn't even ask for it. He wanted to continue to fight, but Daniel then mentally was not right for that. You know, he just didn't handle it well. He allowed the referee to get through him. You could see it. Just all went wrong after that. If he'd have jumped on him straight after, which he didn't do, because by then the 4 minutes had gone, who knows about a different result. But you know what? Things are meant to happen in this world.
Yeah.
The bottom line of it was that I believe that was the turning point in his life. You know, we know he can punch. We know he's a good boxer, but more importantly, there he grew up. And like I said to him, these things that happen in life, you got to make sure they're under your control. You control the situation. You could have won the fight. That was your fight to win. You know what's happened, learn from it, and you come back stronger. And the second fight we made, the next fight back from we made was against Miller, and he was an underdog again in that. Miller's undefeated, a bully. What I mean by a bully, he bullies people at press conferences. Young guy, got wins, you know, you give him all your acquitter and all the usual stuff and all that. And you could just sense there was something different about that.
He was
fight.
sledging a bit more, wasn't he, during that?
Give him that. And then, and that fight, he won most of the rounds and stopped him in the last round, which was great. And that night there was a little bit of him looking out the crowd, which I don't like what he does.
Mm-hmm.
So I went and grabbed his dad, pulled him out of where he was seated, said, you're in the corner. And they went, what? I said, get him in the corner. Because he listens to his dad. Don Charles, who trains him, does a brilliant job, the whole team, Kieran, but he hears that voice. That voice, as you just said, he's grown up, you know, no sort of normal schooling, as we would call it, home tutoring and boxing. And the voice that he hears is his father's. So that was it. Channel it for his dad. And that's what we did, and he had a tremendous performance.
Hrgović then was a brilliant performance, Filip Hrgović. The dress rehearsal for this, if you like, if I call it a dress rehearsal.
The first 3 rounds of the Hrgović fight were tough.
He took a lot of shots.
Yeah.
But he was resilient. They bounced off him.
He grit his teeth and went forward.
The point I'm making is that those 3 fights, I call it a dress rehearsal at Wembley. It was so much bigger than that. He came out first. He waited for Joshua. Joshua was the A side in some senses in that event. He produced a brilliant performance. When he steps in this time, does he need to take the centre of the ring and be the aggressor early, and use educated pressure and not let Usyk settle?
Anyone fights Usyk, you've got to put Usyk on the back foot.
Yeah,
you have to do that with Usyk. It takes a lot of what he's got away from him. But Usyk in this fight, I'm telling you, when that bell goes, he will come out and put it on Daniel. He will try and intimidate him. He will put it on him. He will try and take the fight to him. That's going to be his tactics. That's what I would tell him to do. He's going to try and get underneath his jab and work and really, really try and bully him, and because they think he's mentally weak. That's the truth of the matter. And Daniel, and I think that's why it's going to be a good fight, because Daniel is a walk forward fighter.
Yeah.
So you're going to get the 2 of them coming at each other, letting their bums go.
I sat on the farm with him and he said, I'm really looking forward to peeling the layers off him. I'm going to make him feel like an old man in there. Yeah. I cannot wait to put hands on him. And it wasn't him just, you know, when he's been younger, he's just talking. He really meant it. I could see it.
Yeah, there's no bravado with him.
No, there isn't.
There's none of that nonsense. And he's done that in his last few fights. You know, when we did that round table with AJ, I mean, AJ is a street guy. That's where he comes from. And I know a bit about that, you know, from when I was a kid and where I come from.
Yeah, you're a gangster.
Daniel was never ever that.
No.
You know, he's not a street guy. And when you give me some, and he just stood up, he said, come, let's have it now. And you could see it, and he meant it. It weren't like no thing. The fight with Hrgović, when Hrgović gave him the, kept saying he was a coward. And then was it Spunsy asked him, he said, how are you going to win this challenge? He said, I'm going to knock him out because I'll break his heart. And then he said to Daniel, and you heard what he said, how are you going to win? He said, I'm going to knock the see you next Tuesday out. And I nearly fell off my chair. I mean, everybody's standing there. I mean, I've never heard him swear ever in my whole life. And I'm like, what was that about? But but you could see he's got this belief, and he done what he said he was going to do.
If he does what we expect him to do, and he starts hard and he starts fast and he meets and he counters Usyk and he gets ahead in the fight and he maybe stops him in the first 7 or 8 rounds, are you likely to be talking about a trilogy fight with Oleksandr Usyk after that?
There would be if he comes through, there'll be a rematch if he wants it.
And Daniel has told me, I'm going to beat him up so badly he's not going to want a rematch.
Well, that might be the case. I mean, this fight is what it is. He's a total warrior, Usyk. I've got the utmost respect for him. He finds a way to win in difficult fights. He finds a way to do it. This is going to be a difficult fight for him. Daniel can make this his hardest fight he's ever had. He has the capacity to do that.
Will he go to the body?
Catch him wherever he can catch him. Of course, he go to the body. He doesn't like it to the body. I mean, no one spoke about that stuff I've ever heard until those tactics were employed in the first fight. I see him complain to the referee when AJ hit him to the body. I looked at all of his fights, and a few of the fights he had, certainly as an amateur fights, if he gets caught to the body, he always moans to the referee.
Yeah, all looks, definitely.
Always moans to the referee.
Regardless of where it is on.
Doesn't like it.
Not even if it's low, regardless of where it is, yeah.
He doesn't like it up him.
2 questions on other things. Are we likely to see Tyson Fury next, either against Anthony Joshua, in your view, or against Oleksandr Usyk?
Don't know yet. Don't know.
Okay. We've got to wait for the outcome on.
We've got to see who's going to win the fight on Saturday, number 1. Number 2 is he's got a Netflix series, At Home with the Furious 2. He's filming. He's got a documentary filming with Netflix. So all that's going on. And if and when he fights, that won't be until next year.
He was flushed out when he was at the IBA conference by Turki Al-Sheikh, ringing him and being on fake. We know what happened. What's your instinct? Is he playing? Because he can play with us, Tyson.
Well, he can. My instinct is, he says what's in his head at the moment in time. He wants to fight. I've had a real brief discussion about it, but the most important thing, he's got to get everything out of the way at the moment. And it's until all the dust has settled here, and then we're going to get a load of mandatories thrown at the winner. So all sorts of things are going to happen.
Final one on Hamza Shiraz. Brilliant performance at the weekend. Obviously, he's the new king of New York. British fans, Muslim fans, Pakistani fans, American fans. You've already put him under pressure in some ways that he could have a platform to be the next rising British star, not in the heavyweight division. What do we take from that performance on Saturday night, and how likely is it that we're going to see him fight Canelo or Crawford next year?
I think he's got a good chance of fighting them. And how was he? I mean, he boxed intelligently. He was cool, calm, collected, and he handled everything that the other guy who basically tries to intimidate. He's a bit of a bully from that aspect, and done a job on him. I mean, this is a fellow, I think he knocked 16 or 17 fighters out in the first round.
Yeah.
So and he took a couple as well. He had a good jab, Belanga. He caught him with it a couple of times, but once he settled down, and I want to see him move his head a bit more. He needs to start moving his head a bit more, but he boxed brilliantly. He's got a great jab, and I'll tell you something. He like Daniel Dubois and like Moses, they're all got something in common. If you're in trouble, they're good finishers. They don't let you off the hook.
And you're a great finisher, Frank, as well. And that is all for now. Frank Warren there, saying exactly what you were saying about Daniel, as you've said all along. You know him intimately. You know Don Charles intimately. As you said, you've been up and down the barns. you know, you've been up and down the barns at feeding time, I've heard very often. You've been having big feeds up there. I had a feed when I was up there. They had Jamaican food up there and Jamaican drinks the day I went, I say running with Daniel Dubois. We ran about 200 meters. That boy can run, you know.
He's an athlete.
He's an athlete, fit as a fiddle. Great fun. We'll speak to him in a minute. Great fun with his brother there. His brother's lighting up Camp Dewberry's there. Don Charles' assistant. They've got sports analysts up there, which we'll get into later in the week in the podcasts. They've really left no stone unturned.
They've got oxygen chambers in there. Like they are meticulous in what they're doing here. You know, they've been going through the tactics. Don Charles and the team going through the tactics meticulously. You know, going from forensically. You know, working out where the fight was won, where it was lost, everything else. Like I say, Daniel's grown as a person as well here. You know, going into this fight, the self-belief is insane. The team have been working on stuff. And as I say, when I said, like, you know, as Oleksandr Usyk improves, I mean, what I'm talking about is from that last fight, or is he at his peak right now? I'm not saying that he's past his peak, but I'm saying, is that his peak? We don't know how high the ceiling is with Daniel Dubois. You know, the victories since that loss to Oleksandr Usyk, when you go Jarrell Miller, Filip Hrgovic, Anthony Joshua at this very place, Wembley Stadium, that's going to play a big part in going into this one. Daniel, let me say, he believes he's winning this fight. He believes he's got his number. You know, whether he can implement that into the fight remains to be seen. But if anyone can beat Usyk right now, it's this kid.
You'll see that in a minute when we catch up with Daniel Dubois. But let's have a little listen to Oleksandr Usyk, who talks about how comfortable he is coming and fighting in the UK, going all the way back. I thought he meant to Tony Bellew, but he meant all the way back from the Olympics, back to his amateur tournaments in 2008. This is a guy who's looking to put it on all Brits and be the Brit slayer, if you like. This is what Oleksandr Usyk had to tell us. I am with the legend himself, Oleksandr Usyk, who, before we came on air, even redid my pocket square for me, believe it or not. Oleksandr, how are you?
I'm doing good.
You're very feel today?
I'm very feel today. I'm very feel every time.
You're very comfortable coming to London. You like fighting British fighters. It's almost like a second home for you now.
Correct, because I like him. I like UK, London, UK, my fans, because UK give me a chance. First time it was 2008, Liverpool. Yeah,
Mr. Bellew.
No,
it's
not professional.
With the amateurs.
It's amateurs, yeah, as European champion. But it's my start. Then I said grow and
the Olympics,
yeah,
2012.
Olympics, Ukrainian Ottomans.
Yeah.
Tony Bellew,
yeah.
Anthony Joshua,
Derek Chisora. Don't forget Derek.
Yeah. But it's great place.
You've got a habit of beating all the good or great British heavyweights twice. Anthony Joshua twice, Tyson Fury twice last year in fantastically big contests. Now it's Daniel Dubois a second time. Is it a harder fight than it was 22 months ago?
I don't know.
Is he better?
Yeah, we will see it on Saturday, but now I'm great.
What are the dangers that Daniel Dubois brings to you this time?
Daniel, young guy, Daniel dangerous every time, because this guy have good punch and good boxing skill, but I must be careful because it's boxing, but I prepare for this fight. We will see. It's Saturday.
Do you think he will target your body again on Saturday night?
Of course, it's a boxing. I think yes, but I'm ready.
Will you stop him this time, do you think, or will it go 12 rounds?
Listen, I prepare every time on 12th round, because we with my coach, with my team, we prepare 12th round. But if I have chance, I do it.
Do you believe you will stop him?
Yes, of course.
Okay. When you came here for the press conference in London, Don Charles and your opponent, Daniel Dubois, they said you cheated in Poland, that it wasn't a low blow. Did they get under your skin?
No. For me, it doesn't matter. I'm not cheater. I think it's just psychology games for Daniel Dubois team. For me, it's just games. But I love play. I like play.
You like playing the mind games?
Yes, of course. I like playing football. I like playing Counter-Strike. I like play and psychology games. But it's my rules, you know? It's my rules.
It's your rules.
Yes,
This is you're the king of the division.
Of course.
Are you unmovable psychologically? Is it impossible to get under your skin?
I think it's possible, but now it's only me. Типа знаю тільки я правильно.
Only Oleksandr knows who can do that.
Only me knows how is do.
Finally, if you win on Saturday night, do you carry on in your career? Do you carry on and fight Moses Tauma, Joseph Parker, Agit Kabayel, Tyson Fury again? Or will you be satisfied that you have done enough?
Now I not think about for next fight because my focus only Saturday. Sometimes people say, "Hey, listen, I ready in next fight, but not see for Saturday." I look at my control. It's Saturday after fight. We
ask you then.
Yeah. We speak about my boxing career.
You can see what he's like, guys. Big and beautiful, ice cool. Oleksandr Usyk. We'll be talking to him all week. Back to you. He's so cool, calm and collected. And you made a very good point there. Daniel's definitely improved incredibly over the last 3 fights. He's had his dress rehearsal, if I can call it that, at Wembley. He's looking out of the arch every day when he's in training camp. How good... We know he's great. We know he's taken over as the #1 in the era. We know he's beaten Joshua twice. We know he's beaten Dubois. We know he's beaten Tyson Fury twice. Can Oleksandr Usyk even raise his game to face Dubois the second time, even if Dubois is better?
Well, if he can, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about generational greats, and we know that modern eras. We know that Oleksandr Usyk is the man, but we're talking about historically here, going down in the history books, because if he can deliver and he can beat Daniel Dubois again, a better, bigger, more improved Daniel Dubois, there's nothing left for him to do. You know, he's beaten...
Such a good point.
You know,
carry on then?
Well, there's nothing left for him to do. Like, surely he's ticked all the boxes. You know, when you beat Fury twice, you beat Joshua twice, you beat Daniel Dubois twice. You know, you beat Tony Bellew, you undisputed cruiserweight, undisputed heavyweight. So what I'm saying is, this guy will go down in history, and that may well possibly happen. You know, because he is that good.
But in that interview at the end there, he says, "I can't tell you till after Saturday night whether I've won or lost, or even if I've won, whether I will want to carry on or not." I genuinely believe him. I genuinely believe he'll make a decision in the moment on whether he needs to do any more. But I agree with you. If he wins again on Saturday night, there's no need to stay around for Joseph Parker, Agit Kabayel, the rising Moses Tauma, Fabio Wardley, Lawrence Okoli if he does well in the division. There's always a time to leave your legacy in the ring and leave.
Listen, you're 38 years of age. I mean, he looks phenomenal, by the way, when we're around here. You know, do you think any of them have got under each other's skin in the build-up to this one? Because I think that's what Don Charles, the team, have been trying to do. Get under Oleksandr's...
He says no.
He says no, but, you know, he's saying it and it actually being the truth. Because I think what I saw when we were in the talkSPORT in News UK building, for the first time with Oleksandr Usyk, is it looked like he was rattled a little bit with Daniel Dubois' team saying it wasn't a low blow. Was it a low blow? I mean, we're not going to go over that again because we keep going over it, and it's you make your own mind up where you are with that. But he seemed to rattle him a little bit there. Do you think he's going to get under his skin again this week?
I don't. I think Daniel's just poised. We'll see in a minute. Daniel's just poised and ready to pull the trigger and go. Don Charles might try and get under his skin. The fact that Oleksandr Usyk doesn't have Alex Krasiuk here may be telling, because he answers back for Oleksandr sometimes at press conferences. That might be telling.
And I'll tell you something. I've noticed that Alex is not here, by the way, because he is a big figure around the Oleksandr Usyk team. And I've noticed actually that he hasn't been there. So, will that play a part in it? Because of the character of the man. It's it's going to be interesting. But one thing I say about Dubois, he is revved up, man. He really wants this.
We'll take a look because he was revved up.
You just look like you got back from somewhere.
Well, I just got back from. I've been. Where did I go? Philippines. After we did your training day at the camp up on the farm, which was amazing, by the way. What a day that was! Yeah. I think I went to Manila, Bangkok, Riyadh, Turkey, Bolton, and now I'm here.
Okay.
For you, mate.
Yeah, let's do it.
How are you doing?
Good, mate.
Yeah.
Good.
Ready for Saturday night?
Of course I am.
You have changed. A lot of us have seen it. You're enjoying fight weeks more. You're enjoying camps more. Yeah. You're smiling more. You're more outward than you've ever been.
Why hold back? Let it flow now. Let the whole circus continue and let it flow until I have to get in the ring and put chaos on this guy.
You say chaos on this guy. You've told me you're going to peel back the layers of him and you're going to make him feel like an old man in there.
Yeah, that's what I have to do. Part of that, but bring the force. Bring the force.
We talked about when you were in camp about how you feel like the first fight happened for a reason. You felt like you hit him on the button. It wasn't low.
No.
It didn't go your way that night. But we've come to this point for a reason, and you've grown as a person, a fighter, a man, in your personality and in your fights. And the timing of this is perfect.
It is all about timing in life and boxing. Everything's timing. So we're at the right point now, and to get all these belts and suddenly become the man is what it's about for me.
Becoming the man
that beat the man.
That beat the man that beat the man.
Yeah.
That is becoming the man.
That's right.
No question about that. There's becoming the man, winning the undisputed title. Yeah, that's you and him behind us. Yeah. Are you looking?
No, I'm looking at the belts. You know what I mean? It's a lot of belts, isn't it?
What will it mean, Daniel? Really, what will it mean to win all those belts on Saturday night? What moment in your life will it represent? What moment in your career will it represent? To have all those belts on you in the ring and him fallen on Saturday night.
Yeah, it's just my time. That will be cementing that. It's my time, my era. Send a message out to all the other fighters out there, all the heavyweights out there. I'm the man.
Will you give praise to your father, Stan, some of us call him Dave, for the 20 years that he's driven you as well and supported you and your biggest fan?
He knows I will, That's part of the parcel, really.
Because he had a dream and a prophecy, didn't he?
Yeah.
That his children would be champions and that one of you would be heavyweight champion of the world.
Yeah. I'm glad it was me, though. I'm glad it was me, man. I'm glad I was born to. It was harder in the beginning, but we got here now.
Well, you got the size for a start. Will Solomon ever be a heavyweight?
I think so. It's possible. We're feeding him up, so let's see.
He's about 12 and 6 foot, isn't he?
Yeah.
I remember meeting him. He speaks Chinese. He plays the saxophone.
Yeah.
What instruments have you learned?
Those
ones, exactly. The big, heavy instruments. Tell us about the fight on Saturday night. You made him uncomfortable in August 2023. Definitely. I know you lost it on the rounds, but he was uncomfortable in there. You put him down in the 5th round. Do you need to meet him in the middle and not let him push you back on Saturday night?
Be a savage. Just be a savage in there, and we'll talk about it after it's done. But just be a savage. Bring chaos.
Do you think you have got under his skin, or you're going to get under his skin?
I'm going to get under his skin with these punches, with these bombs I'm going to be throwing. So, yeah.
There's an energy about you that you're really ready.
Yeah. No, I have been. I've been ready for months now. It's been a long camp, this one. From the last fight that didn't happen, it's been ongoing, so I'm ready to go in there now.
Destiny.
For sure.
When you look at that arch from the farm just behind us, that big Wembley arch.
Yeah. And all my men will say it's destiny.
Can we say a word about Don Charles as well? He gave me a hard time after you beat up Anthony. But they kind of made up. Listen, I'm a grown man. I can take criticism. You beat up Anthony Joshua. I got beaten up verbally by your coach, your trainer, Don Charles, for not backing you and not being authentic. We've kind of made it up. How much has Don made a difference to you from that first Usyk fight all the way through this brilliant growth over the last 3 fights, culminating with Wembley last September? How much has Don helped in that process?
Been helped a lot, you know. He's helped me get ready for this fight, and it's going to be a great fight. I'm going to enjoy the fight. It's going to be, and the victory, it reflects on not just me, but my coaches and the whole team around me.
Where would it rank?
Up there, number 1. No doubt, number 1. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Great to see you. Thank you very much. Well, welcome back. What are you looking at? What are you looking at? What are you looking at?
All the belts.
All the belts. We're looking at all the belts at Wembley on Saturday night. How impressive was that interview with Daniel Dubois, who, blood out of a stone for years. I've known him 10 years. You've probably known him longer. The blood out of a stone getting an interview. He's teasing me and engaging. Where have you been? What do you look like? He is comfortable with certain people now. He's got comfortable with the circus, as he calls it. And I think he's comfortable about the idea that he can peel back the layers and make Oleksandr Usyk feel old out in that stadium on Saturday.
How mad is this, right? So we've seen you was interviewing Daniel. All he's doing, he keeps looking around. He's looking. You ask him what he's looking at. He says, "I'm looking at all the belts." Right? He's obsessed with it. Right? How weird is this that he's ended up training in a place where he can see the arches?
Yeah.
Right? With that, you know, when we were talking about him going in against Joshua, I didn't think that he would have the minerals to be able to beat Anthony Joshua. If I'm totally honest, and he used to come down the bar and he'd be standing there and he stares at the arch. And this ain't like trying to paint a picture or anything. This is facts. He would stand there and he's doing it now. He stands at the arch and you go, "What's going through his head?" You know, he's going over it and over it. He's like a Terminator, and I think that he's turning that
Very good word for him.
He's turning what is possibly a nervous energy into a positive energy. And we saw that on the Joshua ring walk, by the way, where we thought it was going to be Joshua was focused. He's used to those surroundings. And Dubois had come out, see the 90,000 fans, rabbit in a headlight, freeze, and he flipped it. And he went Terminator style. And I think we're going to get more of that again on Saturday night. This kid is going to be on another level. I don't think losing comes into this.
No, I don't think he considers losing at all. He came in first last time. He'll be able to do the same rhythm. It's a great point. All those points are fantastic.
We talk about this arch, yeah, and how he focuses himself and everything else. Well, in that barn is a ring. And it was the last ring that we had the undisputed world heavyweight champion. That was back in 1999. That was Lennox Lewis. That was Lennox Lewis's same ring. How weird is that as well? That
the ring.
They've acquired the ring. You know, the late great Dean Powell. He passed that ring on to Don Charles. Don Charles used it. He ends up training Daniel Dubois. How weird is that?
Really weird. It's weird that Oleksandr Usyk has built my pocket square for me today. It's weird that you're staring at the belts like Daniel Dubois was. There'll be nothing weird tomorrow when we meet again, watch the workouts. It'll be fascinating. Quick one on Conor Benn before we go. There's news out that he thinks that Chris Eubank Jr. is pulling out of the fight with him. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I think that they're trying to go through the finer details. I think that, you know, speaking to certain members of Chris Eubank Jr.'s team, it is with the lawyers right now, and they are trying to go through those finer details. So the fight, although it's rumoured to be September the 20th, I'm not sure it's signed, sealed, delivered yet. Like I say, they're just going to try and get over these lines. My general feeling is the fight will happen, but they've still got to come to that final agreement. That's where I think we're pretty much at the moment. And
One of my
Christian-
moments of the year so far is seeing you and Conor Benn around the same swimming pool in Turkey recently. That was a revelation for me. Two men who weren't looking at each other when they were passing each other will repair all the damage eventually. We're friends, though, aren't we?
We've always been friends, mate.
Oh, I love that. Just warms the cockles of my heart. It really does. Look, we'll be back tomorrow. You've been brilliant today. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. We'll have lots more interviews for you tomorrow on the Fight Night Daily podcast from the workouts. We will see you then. Thank you, Spencer.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.